Hello, hello, hello. Happy hump day. We are all up in the hump day. So I just wanted to come in. I'm not going to be here too long, but we're going to do a little bit of quality time because you know what? May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we are all about the mental health. We're usually about the mental health, but we are really about the mental health this month. And one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is 3 reasons you can use mental health even without a crisis. See, that's how we are rolling today. So there are a couple of things I'll tell you off the top. If you know somebody that needs us, tag them. You also can share. Sharing is caring. And the last is if you're watching it later, it's all good. Just hit hashtag replay. Just let me know you were here. And I am your host, Dr. Erica, Harvard-trained, double board certified psychiatrist and integrative lifestyle coach. I am extremely passionate about helping people be better, do better, and live better. I do that through my adult telepsychiatry, my books, and my speaking, and my upcoming podcast. I'm so excited, really excited. One of my superpowers is making mental health practical, and I do that to help put you back in your life. So let's go ahead and get to it. As I said, just let me know where you're coming in from. Just pop it in the chat. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So as I said before, we're talking about 3 reasons why you can use mental health without a crisis. And there's some myths out there. There are myths out there that you only need to deal with your mental health when it's bad. You only need to see a therapist or a psychiatrist when you are suicidal. You don't really have anything to think about with mental health unless you're hearing voices, seeing things, or something like that. All those things are myths, and there are these myths that you just have to be in this crisis or things be totally bad. And I want to be here to break those myths, to bust those myths, because they are just not true. And one of the reasons it's not true is that mental health itself is on a continuum. So a lot of times we spend a lot of time thinking about bad mental health or when mental health goes wrong, versus thinking the continuum from when you are mentally healthy with good mental health to when there is the other end, when there is a crisis. That the thing is naturally we all want to be on the side of good mental health. So there's a lot of mental health to be aware of and to have self-awareness of at the same time, beyond just when you get to a danger zone. And one of the reasons why people can use mental health earlier is, number one, to be able to identify when you're coming out of having good and healthy mental health, when you're barely out of it, not when you're all the way out of it, when you're just coming out of it just a little bit. It also allows you to be aware and try to stay out of the danger zone. The next is good mental health takes action and attention. It takes action and attention to have good mental health. It's not something that accidentally happens to you. People that are emotionally stable and emotionally doing well, there are some things that people do that are mindful and that are intentional. So I want to highlight the fact that it takes action and attention. It is intentional, that you have to take action in your life to get and maintain good mental health. It's not something that is purely accidental and you just fly through life and whatever happens, happens. That to really have it, you have to have a level of self-awareness and be able to have action around things that are going to be healthy for you, and to have health and support when you encounter difficulties. The third is that it's easier to help when something is minor versus a crisis. Just as if you barely touch your car and boop, it's a lot easier to take care of that than if you have a full-fledged T-bone. Is that with mental health, it's the same way. If someone's just a little bit out of whack, it's a lot easier to get you back to happy, healthy, peaceful, all that kind of good stuff, than when you're at a crisis and it's just a mess. So I'd like to encourage people to be mindful and think of where your mental health is at and what to do to keep it well. Because you know what? There is a freedom Also, in having an impartial listener. So one of the reasons why I'm a fan of mental health and why it can be helpful to see a therapist or psychiatrist, because psychiatrists can also do therapy. I just want to remind you that is one of the reasons it's important to potentially have someone like that on your team is they can do things such as mental health checkups just to make sure everything is okay. And sometimes it is just so freeing and wonderful to have an impartial listener, someone who literally their job is to sit and listen to whatever you feel like saying. Whatever. It's our job to sit there and listen. And for a lot of people in their regular everyday life, they may feel like they have to compartmentalize information, or if they tell people this one thing, it's a burden, or they'll be judged. And when we are seeing people either doing therapy or doing med management or any of those, is that our job is literally to be non-judgmental, to be impartial, and to listen and be supportive. So there's power in having that in part of your team and part of your life, which means most likely you be taking care of that even when it's not bad. So that's what I got for you. 3 plus 1, 3 and a bonus. So thanks so much for coming on today. We are talking about 3 reasons you can use mental health even when it is not a crisis. Again, if you know someone that needs this, please tag them. You can also share. And the last thing is, if you are watching it later, just put hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know you're there. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, anything, just stick it in the chat. Even if it's after this airs, I will circle back and do a quick review and then get you right up out of here, because I told you I was not going to hold you hostage on your Wednesday. So we're talking about 3 reasons you can use mental health even when it's not a crisis. And the main ones are is mental health is on a continuum from crisis, hot mess to good. And since it's a continuum, we want to be aware of where we are at all times on the continuum, because the goal and the idea is we all want good mental health. That doesn't mean you're happy and like old school. There's a cartoon there like happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. You don't have to be bouncing off the walls all the time, but to be in a healthy place where you have the capacity to feel joy, to give and accept love, to also be able to process emotions, to have appropriate emotions for what you're going through, is that it's on a continuum. So being aware of the fact that there is something that is on the end of good or healthy helps you try to stay there. And if you start coming out of it, you can start getting some help before you're in a crisis. I keep moving my hand past the screen. The second is that good mental health takes action and attention. It is intentional. Just as it takes effort to keep our physical body and our vessel healthy, it takes effort to keep our mental healthy. I don't even like that sentence, but to keep your emotional health and your mental health healthy. It takes intention and action to do that too. So I want to show a highlight is one of the reasons it's good to be aware of your mental health and potentially even see someone is that can help you with that intentional action that it keeps. I can't talk today. I don't know what's up with me. But that action that is necessary to help you maintain and achieve optimal mental health. Also, it's easier to take care of things if it's a minor issue versus major. So it's a great thing to have someone on your team to help with your emotional health, even when it's not a crisis, because if something minor happens, then you have the support. And if you can correct things when things are minor or to stay in the healthy range, why not just stay there and not play in the other end of the sandbox? Okay, let's do that. The bonus is that there's just freedom in having an impartial listener, that as psychiatrists and therapists, our job is literally to not judge you and to listen and to be supportive. So there's some freedom in having that in your world where there's someone you can always talk to that you know is not going to judge you, is going to be impartial, is going to be supportive, and it doesn't matter what you have to talk about. If it could be the most random thing or the most important thing, it's still our job to listen to it all. So there's power in just having that around you. So I just wanted to bring that up. So that's what I got for you tonight. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate you spending quality time with me. Feel free to share this with people you know that needs this. Again, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I want to make sure you're aware of a multitude of ways to take care of your mental health and mental wellness, because I want you to have optimal mental health and to be able to stay in that healthy range as much as possible. Again, I want to remind you that coming up on the 25th, I have my podcast launch for Better with Dr. Erica. That's the name of the podcast. The launch, you can go to this website, Better Podcast Launch, and register. It's free. We're going to have lots of fun stuff. You're going to hear some behind the scenes information. We're going to party some. There are going to be some great giveaways. And next week, I might go ahead and tell you what some of the giveaways are. You'll be hearing some clips from the show, and also get some behind the scenes information about who's going to be on. So I'm super excited to bring this to you. It was something that there was a long time waiting for it. And it's another way to help me really live in my purpose, which is to be able to help people more than one at a time. And as I said, I'm here to help you put you back in your life. And this allows me to do that on a greater scale than person to person, as I do with my regular doctor hat. So I'm just really excited. I'm really excited to do this. And I hope you can join me on that evening. It's May 25th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Again, you can register right down here. Again, I just want to tell you to make sure you call at least one person and tell them that you love them. That's your prescription. You have the same prescription every time. So I know you should be getting really good at it right now. And that is it. Thanks so much for coming. I appreciate your time. And until next time, have a better day.